once we have them on that local server, all we have to do is create a network. All these Chromebooks are going to be able to communicate with that database. You can look people up by their name. You can look people up if they already have a bib or a tag assigned. And you can also look people up based on their entry ID. So if they show up and they have a receipt, or in the confirmation email it has a barcode, they can walk up and they can actually scan that 1D barcode, and it'll immediately pull up that entry, and then you can assign an athlete their bib and tag. So it's also, it does work offline. So how the data structure here is, all of the Chromebooks are communicating and talking to that one laptop. It's taking all the changes, and then if internet's available, it's automatically pushing those up to the cloud where we have our online scoring software. So if the online scoring, or if we lose internet connectivity, it's just queuing all those changes, and then it's going to push them up at the very end. Does that kind of make sense? Yeah, you have questions?
Yeah.
By all means, ask.
Just, I'm translating, so I'm at the same time, so I'm not being rude.
Okay.
But the question is, if there is no Wi-Fi reception, how do you do all this?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we're actually bringing our own Wi-Fi network with us. So we've got a cradle point over there. Can you guys see this? Is this? If I go through here real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. So
you bring your own antenna, whatever.
Yeah. So we have our own wireless router.
What's your name?
My name's Nick.
Nick, and
So,
are you Chronotrack?
yeah, I'm with Chronotrack Athletes.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so this is the data structure. So we have the event, we check it out to like our local machine, and then we create a Wi-Fi network where we're communicating with all the kiosks. So on this computer, we're running a local server. The launch software is what what we've developed. And then you connect that to a little router or a switch. We've got a couple that we're testing out to find the best one that you should use. And then that communicates with all of these guys. So you don't need internet connectivity. All this needs to do is broadcast a Wi-Fi network. And then the server connects to this, and these they're all in the same network. And then, yeah.
At what point do you go offline with sales?
Go offline with sales. So this particular piece of software right now is doing bib assignment and bib assignment only. So it's not necessarily doing any online or on-site registration. So there's a lot of PCI compliance things that come into play. That may be something that we do later down the road, but really this is meant to handle everyone who is registered for the event ahead of time.
Okay. Are you selling it until
Right.
like 5 p.m. today or something? Or?
Yes, but no, we can sell them on race day. At the race day registration tent, we go off a couple jet packs, or we have our own router there.
In terms of batching this to download, are you selling until 5 p.m. and then you batch everything that's sold that's on the local laptop?
Do you close
You
registration
can
today?
close registration today, yes.
Yep.
10 p.m.
And then
We'll
you download all
everything
those
and
races
upload it
onto
to the
there,
cloud.
And then, so rather than having internet access,
Yep.
you just have a localized network that you create at Reg.
And then ideally, I mean, you want internet, right? If you have internet connectivity, it's going to be pushing those up like during the event live.
Why do you care about that?
The reason that you want that is because all our scoring software is on the cloud, so we want to make sure that as soon as someone comes up, they get that they're assigned that bib, and then our scoring software that's at a different location knows which athlete and which bib correspond with each other, so they can make that association and they
So you
can
can't
produce
do
it.
that. It's not done Wi-Fi then locally.
Not yet. We're building a scoring component to work with it within the same infrastructure. Yeah, so that's a good question. The other thing is right now how this currently behaves is that it downloads all of the events in the cloud all at once down here. In the future, we're going to have a two-way sync where if you have it pulled down already and online registration still going on, those athletes will automatically be pushed down into your score, like locally here, and this is going to drive everything.
You don't have to close registration the night before.
So you wouldn't have to close it the night before. You could go on it. So yeah, let me go through here and see if there's anything else real quick. So this runs a local web server on your laptop, and then as long as you have credentials with our Chronotrack Live software, so it integrates with Chronotrack Live. you can authorize yourself on the machine, and then you can go through there and set up a network. So I'll kind of go through this. They've already done this. So once you have it running, it runs up in your taskbar. It's in the background. It's always running. So I've got this running now. You can go into, you just go to a certain like a website. So we have to go to like launch.athlinks.com and then /download events. You just hit open and you select the event that you want. It'll pull down all those athletes. After you have all those athletes downloaded into the event itself, you can do a search. It's a live search. So I don't know if you guys have seen the classic one that we have right now. We do have the same feature or the same functionality, but it exists in the cloud. So you have to have internet connectivity. And if you lose that internet connectivity, you're offline and you kind of host. So that's what this replaces. This allows for that to be fine. You can see how many athletes have actually checked in. So out of here, it says that we've got 3,014 out of 3,140. So you can tell easily, how many people have come in, how many people have picked up, how many people are still waiting to come and pick up. And then if you need to download a local version of that stuff, you can do it. You can see how long you've been online or offline. You can see if there are any pending changes that need to be pushed to the cloud. And we have two different flavors of this. We've got an athlete-facing version. So if you're doing pre-assignment, we do have the functionality to come in and to walk up for athletes just to look up their bib number. So they're just looking it up. They're not assigning or changing anything. But if you guys, hey, Gilbert.
I'm still trying to get the internet.
Oh. Okay. So we're getting internet right now. Anyway, does anyone have any questions about anything so far? Okay. So if you I guess the setup that Aaron has set up. The idea here is that we have two different stations, and then we have a.
Yeah, so these are the new bibs that have a barcode, and then also the timing chips. So we'll scan a timing chip and a barcode or a bib on the fly. So we can service two people in one bay instead of last year we could only serve one person per every 10-foot bay.
Eric, we still use last year's bib loads, or are they completely redundant?
Yeah, so we're using last year's bib loads for race day registration.
Yeah.
The only thing you could do is you have to label them.
So if we got the barcodes and put them onto last
You can
year's,
do that.
In the UK we've got 10,000 of last year's left,
Yes.
so we kind of don't want to lose those.
Right, you can use
What we
those.
need to do is put those on, and then I understand the wristband for the timing chip's different, so we
It's
just
just a
need
little
those.
thicker.
Okay.
The exact same quality, it's just a little thicker.
Is the barcode the same as the bit number?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep. So we've got it on this computer right here. This is the volunteer search, so this is going to be facing the actual volunteer. So someone will walk up, and we do have these scanners, and these scanners work with cell phones. So if they have that barcode on there, you just scan it, and it's just like checking in at an airline or Starbucks or something like that. It'll pull up the entry right away.
Is it a 3D scanner or?
It's a 1D barcode scanner. So
They're upwards compatible. You could have 2 or 3.
yes. So you could scan. I don't think I understand the question.
Well, there's different versions of scanners.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what you need.
Yeah, so this is just a 1D barcode. It's not QR code or anything like that. It's not like 2D. It's a,
CCD.
yeah, it's
CCD.
it's a CCD. So it's almost like a camera. So that way, like the classic ones, like the real cheap ones that you buy for like 15, 20 bucks, those only do paper. But these will work with screens and mobile phones. Yeah. So yeah, here is the volunteer kiosk. So when you walk up, the nice thing about this is that if you start typing a name, it'll live search during it. So if you were to type in, a partial anything, you're gonna get live updates right away. So it's really quick. You don't have to like type in a full name, hit enter. I will use that in just 1 second. And then you can also, one of the things that we want to make sure that you can do is use a keyboard and not have to use the trackpad. So training volunteers is really easy. You just simply go down and find the one that you want. Once you find one that's ready to go, you hit the enter button. It'll pop you up, and you'll notice that this does have a field. You're already in the field for tag, and for bib. So if you have a scanner that's connected to it, simply always scan the chip first, then you scan the bib. If there's a bib already taken, it'll let you know that. It does present you with the athlete's name, where they're from, their location, gender, age, date of birth. You can configure all this stuff that you want. We're going to have it show the wave as well, so you can grab the right bracelet, hand it over, and then all you have to do is click enter, and you're on your way.
And this is also where you'll check the ID against this information right here with the name, date of birth.
So, and I don't want to mess up the process, but can you just walk us through sort of, I'm walking up here as a racer.
Yeah.
What do I do? Where do I go? And then,
So I've already used that bib number, so it gives you an error message. So we want to make sure that we don't have any sort of duplicates at all. Yeah, go for it. That one's not on the center.
And I can use this marker.
So, quick question: are those laptops, the Chromes, facing the racer or facing the volunteer?
Volunteer.
Volunteer.
And they're not doing any entering. It's all with the scanner, right?
Exactly.
Yep. Let me go grab the scanner.
So everything else is facing the other way.
Where?
Box are facing that way.
this one does.
So I don't know. I'm going to scan this and see if it pulls someone up. I'm not sure if this is from the same event. I think it is. So I've got the 1D barcode right here. You've got the scanner.
Because it's a test.
Oh, this is real big.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we don't have the receipts.
So this is their entry ID. So this is a unique ID that we assign each individual athlete whenever they get into our system. So we go through there, we scan this, it converts it into a text string, and it's going to be a perfect match. So if it's a perfect match, it's going to pop them right up. Then all you have to do is just assign the tag and then the bib. So do you want to talk about like when you ask for IDs and all that stuff?
Yeah, so as soon as we pull up the athlete on the screen, we ask for the ID and the waiver. So you'll check that ID against this information right here, first name, last name, date of birth. Waiver goes in the bin, and then you scan the timing chip, and you scan the packet.
Yep. So go ahead and
It'll
scan
be
that
on
guy.
stand, so the volunteer won't have to move around.
And then automatically we'll hit enter. It goes green, so you know that it's saved. That change was pushed to the local server or the main launch computer, and then if there's internet connectivity, it's going to push it immediately up to the cloud. If there's not connectivity, it's just going to queue those transactions, but you're working with a single database, so you're all good.
So that's how
Why
quick it
didn't
goes.
those two numbers match?
That's a good question. So these are the active timing tags, or the chips that we're using. These actually have a battery inside of them, so they're more expensive than a traditional like disposable one. I know some of you guys use the J chip. So these won't necessarily match the bib because you'd have to go through, and that's the hard part, right? That's the real shitty part where you'd have to go and find all of the tags that are like, 22217, and then you have to go find the right one. So this makes post race, after the race, a lot easier and simpler. So all you have to do is just make sure that you collect all of the chips, make sure they're clean, dump them in a bucket, and then make your bit, produce all your little bib packets, and you just assign them on the fly.
Okay, but so we know that when it comes up, it's a unique number that's once assigned, it takes it out of the pool. And
Right.
The two numbers
So if
get
you-
married together.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that bib number goes to that chip. It just remembers.
So it eliminates the whole packet stuffing
yeah,
process.
great.
And so if there's any duplicate tags or bibs, it's going to barf an error right here, so you can handle it and solve the problem, and say, oh, this is taken, I don't know, let me grab a different one, right? And then you can just go on.
Are you ever having to manually input numbers?
So you can do that. The nice thing about scanning is that it removes people from screwing things up.
Right.
So you don't have to fat finger anything. We also made sure that the icons, whenever you pull someone up, that that one clearly looks like a bib and or tag, and one's orange.
And would the scanner ever not work that they would have to manually do it, or is it?
It doesn't. I mean, if it doesn't work, or if they don't feel comfortable using it, whatever, that's fine. They can simply just click into it. Some of these are touch screen, so you can even like touch the right fields. We want to use the barcode scanners as much as possible. So a lot of these are some of the, like I said, we're still kind of trying to find the best ones for it, but we're honing in.
Question for you.
Yeah.
What happens if they scan the bib first as opposed to the chip? Will it just not feed back?
So that's a good question. We have the tags themselves have a leading digit inside of them. So this isn't in it right now, but we'll be able to scan it and we'll be able to detect, oh, there's a letter in front of this. This must be a chip. So it's going to reduce that error. Yeah. Or at least help a lot with it. Cool. You guys have any other questions? Quick and to the point? Kind of?
Yeah. The V-Books, they come with the barcode on it, right?